Welcome back to Lexi's Lounge, your one-stop shop for mind, body, business, and marketing. Today on the podcast, I have my husband/business partner, Riley, and we're going to answer all the burning questions you have about how I replace my $45,000 a year income with short-term renting. This is one you will not want to miss, so let's get started. Are you ready?
Yes.
Riley, thanks for being on Lexi's Lounge.
Thanks for having me.
What are you drinking tonight?
Of course, a Keystone Light.
Keystone lattes. Well, are you excited to be on the show?
Very. Well, I'm going to start charging you.
Charging me what?
By the minute.
By the minute?
By the minute.
How much?
Well, we'll get to there.
So,
all right.
Rouse,
what do we got going on here?
We get a ton of questions about our short-term rental, our Airbnb/VRBO, right?
Yeah.
All right. So what do you think the top number one asked question we get is?
Probably what we do with all of our personal items.
So do you want to tell them what we did with them?
Of course. So
speaking of our personal items.
Yeah. No, so we just pretty much put all of our clothes in one of our walk-in closets and we lock it up and we take what we need for while we're out of the house, and then we want to make it feel like we're not there, so we take all of our pictures and anything that resembles that it's our house, to make it feel like they're the people who are staying here it feels like it's theirs. And of course, and then the garage, all of our belongings are still in the garage, and we keep that off limits and lock the garage door into the house too, so no one is able to get in there.
Yeah. So in our bedroom, our master bedroom, we have two closets. Riley would call them a his and hers, his being the coat closet and mine being the walk-in closet.
Of course, I get shafted.
Where are we right now?
We're sitting in her closet.
And that's the what?
The walk-in closet.
We're sitting in my closet, which...
She calls it the podcast studio.
It is, because there's less feedback in here. I think the second question we get is how often we rent it out. I would say in the off season, which is like not summer, is every weekend at least. But then in the summer, to give you perspective, we moved out of our house on Memorial Day weekend and we just got back in it, and we have to move right back out because we have people coming this weekend. It's a Monday right now, and we have people coming on Friday. And I should mention it's the middle of September.
Saying you never know. You could think you have a month of no one in your house, and then you wake up in the next morning and somebody books your house for that next day. So you got to scramble to get everything ready. So it's kind of important that you keep things simple.
Minimal.
So, minimal. And that way it's easier on you when it comes time to get out of the house. You don't have a bunch of crap to move out.
Yeah, especially now that it's you and me and our two kids. And it's 2 under 2. Well, I guess Noah's 2 now, but still, like toddler and baby. There's so much stuff. So we just have to really keep most of our stuff out of the house and just leave the basics here for the people. And it is nice, though, when we have people that come and stay that have kids or infants, that we have everything they need for that. So I think a lot of people like that. That's a good comment we get back.
Yeah, definitely.
So we asked questions on Instagram about what people wanted to know. And one of the questions that came in is how long we rent our house out at a time.
We rent our house out usually anywhere from 2 nights, but that's our minimum, to a week. On average, I'd say it's about 4 nights a stay is what people usually book it for, mainly from either a Thursday to a Sunday or a Friday to a Monday is usually the typical stay.
Yeah, and we don't try to do monthly renters, even though it would be nice, but we don't try to because of the Washington tenant laws. Like if somebody's in there for over a month, just even one day, then it's what, their property now or something. It's squatter laws.
No, they're way too protected to do any sort of long-term rental in this state, so we don't allow long-term rentals.
Yeah, it would be nice, but we just don't want to even go there. So a lot of people ask me in person too where we stay when our house is being rented out. I'm sure you get that question a lot also.
Yeah.
We actually have a travel trailer that we stay in. It's really nice. It has 2 bedrooms. So the back bedroom is a bunkhouse with 4 bunks, and one of them converts into a table. And then it has its own separate bedroom as well. But we've also got the question of where we park our trailer. So I'll let Riley take over that one.
We put in full hookups right on the side of our house, and, we let the people know that we stay on the property, and it's pretty convenient for us because going back and forth from the house to the trailer, it makes it easy. We don't have to pack a bunch of stuff up and completely leave the property. We just kick it in the trailer while people stay here, and that's pretty much where we live all summers, in our travel trailer.
Yeah, but we do go camping in other places during the summer, but in the winter, for example, we'll be in the trailer, but we'll really try to find friends or family to go hang out with and go hang out at their house because we just don't want to sit in the trailer. It's a small place for a family of 4 plus 2 cats and a dog.
Yeah, it kind of pushes us out to go do stuff with friends and get out a little more.
Yeah, I like it so far. Do you?
Definitely.
So another question we've gotten asked is, have you ever had issues with damaged or missing items? The first damaged thing I could ever think back to was somebody staining our carpet red, which we just had a cleaner come out and he fixed it. Shout out to Karsten Cleaning in Snohomish County, Washington. He fixed it and we just charged the guest what the cost was and she paid it no problem and that was fine. But we did have quite an experience with one group. Tell them about the shower curtain.
We went into our house and for some reason our shower curtain was off the hooks and gone. Couldn't tell you what happened. It wasn't in any of the garbages or anything. Just disappeared.
And then they replaced it with a different shower curtain. I don't know if they think we didn't or wouldn't notice. But then they also went to the local grocery store around here and got like stacks of their plastic bags and left them in the house. And then they also took all of our dish towels, which was really weird. There was a lot of weird things that happened with that group. They were super nice, but I'm like, what?
Yeah, so you never know. You get all sorts of kinds of people who rent your house. So you just got to be ready for random things to happen like that because they're going to happen. You're not going to get perfect renters every time.
Yeah. But we do, I would say, for the most part, get renters that are just, they're so sweet and they're so nice. And the really cool thing about renting your house out in short-term increments is being able to meet people from all over the world, from all different backgrounds, who have all different stories to tell. We've met some of the coolest, sweetest, nicest people on the planet and developed relationships with them that we would have never if we didn't rent our house out.
Yeah, and a lot of times you get cool gifts left behind.
Yeah, whether that be something they just left behind or something they actually bought you. But a lot of times we'll ask people if we find something left behind. We'll be like, do you guys want me to ship this back to you? And they're like, no, we left it for you. Or, oh, no, it's fine or whatever.
Most of the time it's not even worth their money to ship the item that's left behind.
Yeah. So another question we get is, how did we figure out how much to rent it out per night? So I'll take this one since I pretty much do the renting or the pricing. I used to work at a hotel, so I did the room night blocks and everything for group events and whatnot. So I really sat down in a meeting every single Tuesday and we went over and figured out the pricing for the hotel for that whole month. So what that essentially looks like with a short-term rental is looking at the competition around you and seeing what they're pricing based on the amenities they have, how many people they can sleep, how nice it is, and then coupling that with my gut feeling of like, okay, what's it worth for me and my family to be kicked out of my house a night? And so those two things, like I realistically sit on the higher end of the spectrum because it's worth a lot of money and time for me to move my family out of the house. And Riley, like he does so much, God bless him. He goes to work and then comes home and cleans the house because I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm hiring someone. But this guy, he's a penny pincher. So he won't let that happen. I think he's on the verge though now, right? Of hiring a cleaner.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, you guys heard we're on the same page now. But anyway, that's how I figure out how much to rent it per night. And so far it works pretty well and I have no regrets. All right. This is one I've gotten a few times in person, but it also came through on our Instagram questions. Is this a long-term thing for us? Is this a long-term thing for us?
As of now, yeah. I mean, everything's. I'm liking it. And our goal is to try to pick up another one and do it again somewhere else and give us a spot to bounce back and forth from too.
Yeah, totally. It actually replaced my $45,000 a year salary doing this in 1 year. So that is something that is super exciting because it enables me to stay home with the boys. We're doing pretty well with it, and it's kind of shocking because everybody we tell says the same thing. We live in an area, if you're not from Marysville, Washington, the only huge attraction that is near us is the Tulalip Casino. And other than that, it's Seattle or Bellingham, right? I mean, unless you're going to Everett, but I mean, why would you go to Everett? He works there, so he's like, get me out of that place.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just crazy to me that people even come stay, that we're as busy as we are, but there's obviously a market for it, and I'm really glad that we tapped into it when we did. It was one of our first entrepreneurial ventures together, or did we start your company first?
I think they're pretty close, but I think the Airbnb went first.
Okay. Yeah, Riley actually has a company of his own doing tractor work too, so that's really cool. So Riley has a company, I have a company, and then we have a company together, and then look at us now, we're on this podcast together.
Here we are.
Yeah, he's like, here we are. Can we get this over with? A question we got is, are you living in your trailer? Yes, ma'am. Yes, indeed, we are. And it's really comfortable, actually. Like, I don't mind it at all.
Cozy.
It's cozy. It can get dirty really easily. That's my biggest complaint. But I feel like more recently I've tried to make a conscious effort to like keep it cleaner, except for where my clothes are. That's the hard part. My clothes.
Well, yeah, you don't got your walk-in closet in the trailer.
I know, but even my walk-in closet that we're sitting right now is kind of messy. So
Turns into a walk-on closet.
it's a pretty good one. Okay, so the next question we have is, do we live here if there's a longer stretch when it is not rented out? Absolutely we do, but it would have to be at least...
I'd say 2 weeks to make it worthwhile. It wouldn't be bad at all if you didn't have kids, but with all their stuff, it's a lot of work moving in, moving out, and the messes the kids can make and getting into everything.
Second to last question. How many days a month is it rented out?
20 days a month, I'd say.
In the summer?
Yeah.
And then in the winter,
Winter jumps to...
like 10...
Yeah, 8 to 10 days a month, I'd say.
Yeah. And then the final question. Can I quit my job and do this?
You definitely could.
But you kind of got to have two places to live.
Yeah, but you also have to have a strategy going into it. You just can't say, oh, I'm going to rent my house out. You got to kind of figure out what you could charge. And you kind of base that off of, your competitors. You kind of see what people around you are charging and also what you have to offer, because that's huge when people are looking for places, things you have to offer. If you have a hot tub, if you have a big outdoor area, if you can host a
large group,
or fires, if you can have fires, or where you live and what's surrounded by you, if there's things to do all around you. A huge thing here is weddings. I'd say it's probably 80% of people who stay here are for weddings, whether it's they're in the party or they're just family here out of town. But we're surrounded by a ton of wedding venues all around us. So that is a big one for us on people staying here.
All right, so we are about to wrap up. We talked about what we do with our personal items, how often we rent it out, where we stay, the kind of guests to look out for in a way, good and bad. So before we go, Riley, what is your top tip for somebody who wants to start their own Airbnb, VRBO, vacation rental?
I'd say my top tip is just keeping your house very simple, meaning your decorations on the walls or decorations around the house, things that can get broken. Just keep things simple, but also you want, your house to feel cozy, but make it easy on you or the cleaner, and uh, don't have a bunch of things on the floor, decorations like that you got to move to clean, vacuum, because there's a lot of kids that stay, and you know, if you have a kid-friendly house, it makes the guests a whole lot happier to stay at your place because they don't have to worry about their kids getting into things and breaking things. So if you just keep your house simple but cozy, I'd say that's going to be your best bet.
And I would say my top tip is be flexible but strong in your rules. So, like, if somebody wants to come in early, check in, and you can let them, then let them. Like, do those things where you can accommodate them extra for no extra fee, because at the end of the day, if you treat people good, they're going to treat you well in return. But, there is boundaries you have to uphold because people can and will walk all over you if you allow them to, but also where you can give a little grace and be a little nicer and, be the change you want to see in the world and be kind, then I would highly advocate for that as well. Well, Riles, I know you really didn't want to do this, but thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Will you be back to Lexi's Lounge?
Well, we'll see.
All
we
right.
gotta work on this contract here.
Okay. All right. Well, cheers, baby. Love ya.
Love ya.
Well, I hope this podcast was extremely helpful if you've ever been wondering about VRBO or Airbnb. If you have any other questions about it, send us an email or a DM and we may do another episode on this. Also, don't forget to leave some love in the reviews and tune in next week for my chat with Kelly Hackney about marketing strategy and email marketing. See you then.